My name is Valentina. I am a Venetian tour manager and I love to welcome our guests in Venice and in my beloved city. This is the city where I was born and where I decided to grow up with my family. So now we are at the very beginning of the main canal, the main waterway we have here in Venice, the Grand Canal, that begins from here and across the entire city for about 3 kilometers. The other side of the Grand Canal, you can see this huge building, which is the Doge's Palace, one of the most famous and important buildings of the city. The Doge's Palace was the official residence of the Doge. The Doge was the chief of the Republic of Venice. It was also the house of the Tribunal of Venice and the house of the Venetian government and parliament. The city of Venice is made up of 118 islands, small islands, connected by more than 400 bridges. And all around the city, we have 200 inner canals, like the one you can see just behind my shoulders. All the canals flow into the Grand Canal, which is the main one we have in Venice and the most famous one. You can also see how many palaces we have. The most important noble families in the past of Venice tried to get a place where build their palaces, and the best position was, of course, the Grand Canal. You can see also the gondolas, and you have to imagine that the main doors of the palaces in Venice, but of every buildings in Venice, were fronting the water, the Porta d'Acqua. So everybody moved from their palaces, churches, warehouses, from the Porta d'Acqua by gondolas or private boat. You can see how many hidden corners we have in Venice and a lot of secret gardens. Walking around the city, you can see so many gardens we have, because normally they are closed all around by walls. But the city of Venice is really crowded of romantic and secret hidden gardens. If you look over the roof, you can see the altane. The altane are the terrace and the gardens over the roof of Venetian's family. So in the past, all the islands of the city of Venice had a private parish church. So this is the reason why we have in Venice more than 100 churches also nowadays. All the churches were normally located into a little square, but we don't have many squares in Venice. We have only one, the most famous that we will see later, the one of San Marco. All the other squares in Venice are called campo. Campo means fields, because in the past they grew up vegetables. They were vegetable yards. So how the Venetians could have water in Venice? They collected the water from the rain in the campi. Under the campi they had the cisterns. They collected the water into the wells, like the one you can see right here. the water passed through here. They had a cistern, so every campo had a cistern, and also every noble palace had a private wells, a cistern for the water. Behind my shoulders you can see Rialto Bridge. This is the first bridge that was built crossing over the Grand Canal. Before we had a wooden bridge that the Venetians opened every day in the morning in order to permit that the ships coming from the lagoon of Venice to reach the daily market of Rialto, which is just behind Rialto Bridge. Rialto was the first island that was settled down from the inhabitants of the northern lagoon when they refuged into the inner island of the lagoon in order to escape from the barbarians when they arrived into the coast of Veneto region. You can see one of the three squares we still have in Venice, the square di San Trovaso. In the past, we had more than 80 squares, but nowadays we have only 3 squares. But what is the square? The square is the gondola yard. You can see how many gondolas there are. They are preparing and restoring also because in winter time the gondoliers take care of their gondolas after the main touristic season. They come here with the gondolas and they take it out from water, they repaint it, they repair the chairs, they restore the fabric of the chairs, and you can imagine, talking about Venice, how many palaces we have. But if you observe the architecture of the square, you can realize how different it is. It is made on wood. And why? The maestri d'ascia, that meant that usually realized gondolas, they were coming from the mountains of Veneto region because they knew how to work with wood. So the gondola is the typical Venetian embarkation. Just to realize one gondola, the maestri d'ascia use 7 different kinds of wood and completely handmade, working wood with fire and water. So the gondolas in the past were about 12,000 in the 17th century. Everybody moved by gondolas. Nowadays, the gondolas belongs to the gondoliers that accompany guests in romantic gondola serenade, but also cruising along the inner canals of Venice without music is really very romantic. This is the famous Bridge of Sighs, the most romantic bridge of Venice. All Venetian couples, but couples coming from all over the world, pass during a romantic gondola serenade under the Ponte dei Sospiri. In front of you, you can admire the beautiful island of St. George the Major, with its beautiful Palladian church, a masterpiece by Andrea Palladio, probably the most important architect of the past of Venice. The island of St. George is just in the middle of the water basin of St. Mark, which is the heart of the city of Venice. I hope that you enjoyed short presentation of my city, and I hope to see you very, very soon in Venice. We hope to welcome you again.